hello, welcome back to our channel. Today we are going to talk about dental casting procedures. So this is the most used procedure or method for fabrication of metallic restorations like inlays, onlays, FPDs and crowns. So let's see the procedure in detail in this video. Dental casting procedure consists of various steps and it includes wax preparation and removal, sprueing, investing, burnout and followed by casting and finishing and polishing. Step number 1, wax pattern preparation, where we have two types of wax pattern preparation, that is direct method and indirect method. Where direct method is nothing but preparing the wax pattern within the oral cavity with the help of medium wax, that is type 1 wax, and the indirect technique is nothing but preparing the wax pattern outside the oral cavity in a cast or die. The removal also differ from direct and indirect method. So in direct method, the wax pattern is attached to the sprue and it is removed along the path of withdrawal, and in the indirect method, the wax is cooled down completely and the die is caught in one hand and the wax pattern is caught in the other hand, and the pressure is applied to the die and not to the wax, and a gentle pressure is applied to the wax and it is removed away. After removing the wax, check for the margins and contours and the finish and smoothness of the wax pattern. And the step number 2, sprueing. In sprueing, sprue is nothing but a channel which is connected to the wax pattern and it is made up of wax, plastic or metal, but most preferably the wax is used as it is easier for melting and creating a channel or hole through which the alloy is sent through for casting. So the basic requirements of the sprue to be placed is, it allows the escape of molten wax from the mold and it should be designed in such a way that it reduces the turbulence as much as possible when the molten metal is allowed to flow. And the length and diameter of the sprue depends on the type and size of the pattern and type of the casting machine to be used, and it also depends on the diameter of the casting ring to be used. The diameter of the sprue should be equal to the thickest portion of the wax pattern and it should be attached to the bulkiest part of the wax pattern but not near to the margins and occlusal contacts. So, larger the diameter of the sprue, it improves the flow of the molten metal into the mold, and smaller the diameter, it solidifies before even casting and it results in porosity, and this porosity is known as suck back porosity. The length of the sprue should be in such a way that wax pattern is placed 6 mm below the end of the casting ring, and if it is more shorter than 6 mm, it results in moving away the wax pattern from the end of the casting ring, and that results in entrapment of the gases and inadequate vacuum of the mold, and this results in porosity. And if the length of the sprue is more, it results in solidification of the alloy in the halfway and it results in improper filling of the mold with an alloy. And the sprue should be placed in 45 degrees to the mold, and that results in decrease of turbulence of the alloy. When the sprue is placed, it can be added with reservoirs and venting, where reservoir is nothing but a bulk given at the height of 1.5 mm, which prevents the localized shrinkage porosity. And venting is nothing but additional auxiliary sprue attached to the wax pattern, and it helps in escape of gases entrapped within the mold and reduces the shrinkage. So, this sprue is attached to crucible former, which acts as a base during investing, and this crucible is available in rubber, metal and plastics. We have two types of crucible former. One is shallow cone and the other is steep sided cone. And the shallow cone is used when the cast metal is fabricated in steam or air pressure, and steep sided cone is used when casting is done in centrifugal casting forces. After attaching the sprue to the crucible former, which acts as a base, we are going to add casting ring, which is used to confine the fluid investment around the wax pattern, and it safeguards the wax pattern and the mold during the burnout and casting. And the inner diameter of the casting ring should be 6 to 10 mm greater than the width of the wax pattern, and the height of the casting ring should be 6 mm from the wax pattern. And the casting ring is available in oval and round, and as complete ring or split ring, where the complete ring is available in rubber, plastic and metal, and split ring is available in metal and plastic. And it is followed by the placement of casting ring liner, which is similar to that of butter paper which we use in cooking, and it is the most commonly used technique to provide room for the investment material to expand. It is available as asbestos liner, cellulose liner and ceramic liner, and we have to cut the liner to fit the inner diameter of the casting ring, and we should not give finger pressure to the liner to get adapted to the casting ring. And the next step, investing. So for investing, we use three types of materials in common. They are gypsum bonded investing materials, phosphate bonded investing materials and ethyl silicate bonded investing materials. So before mixing the investing material, we have to clean the wax pattern without any dust or oil or grease, and let it to air dry until we prepare the investing material. And investing material is mixed by vacuum mix technique to avoid air bubbles and entrapment of gases and oxides. Once the investment is set for 1 hour, it is ready for burnout. So, once the investment is ready for burnout, the crucible former is removed carefully and the investment is set for burnout. So, burnout is nothing but wax elimination by heating the investment under thermostatically controlled furnace until all traces of waxes are evaporated. If it is gypsum bonded investment, it is heated to the maximum of 500 degrees Celsius, and if it is phosphate bonded investment material, It is heated up to the maximum of 700 degrees Celsius. After burn out, we get the mold and it is time for casting. Casting is nothing but allowing the molten metal to flow through the sprue and fill the mold and give the replica or the duplicate of the missing teeth in the form of metal. And the casting machines are briefly classified into two, torches and electrical. And the casting force should be greater than surface tension of the alloy plus resistance offered by the gases in the mold, and followed by casting, it is finishing and polishing. Finishing and polishing is done by four processes: quenching, divesting, pickling and sandblasting. Quenching is done when the type 3 and type 4 gold alloy has been casted and solidified. The ring should be quenched in water once the bottom shows dull red glow. Divesting is nothing but removing of the investment surrounding the casting or recovery of the casting which is surrounded by the investment. Once the casting is recovered from the investment, it appears to be dark due to oxides and tarnish. Such a film should be removed and that process is known as pickling. And this removal of oxides and tarnish is done by 50% hydrochloric acid or phosphoric acid or hydrofluoric acid. And sandblasting is nothing but removal of the investment from the surface of the casting with the help of sandblasting machine. And the final finishing and polishing is done with the help of brown or white Alzo stone. If you like this video, please do like, share and subscribe to this channel.